All right, y'all, welcome back. So what we're gonna do today is try to mount this solar panel on the roof of my truck. If you've been following along, you know I have this Jackery 1000 V2. This was sent into the P.O. box by Jacob, so thank you for that. And on the live, he also sent in some money so that I could purchase a solar panel. I did purchase the Jackery solar panel that is like foldable and portable. That is not going to work on the roof. That's not meant to be like hard mounted to anything. It's kind of flexible. And what I typically do when I go camp is I change spots every night. So having something that can charge while I'm driving is what I'm looking at to do here. This is a Harbor Freight solar panel. It's just a big 100-watt solar panel. And I picked up their connection kit so that I should be able to plug it into the Jackery. This has a 10-foot extension cable. I also have some little brackets. Hopefully I can just get it done with these. If not, I also did pick up just a hunk of metal here and we can make our own bracketry one way or the other. So how I'm gonna do this is my plan is to take that rooftop box off of there. So I've had that mounted up there for a while. All that I've really stored in there is some hiking sticks that I've never used and a big tarp that I rarely ever use. So that's going to end up coming off. I think the solar panel will be much better for my needs, especially on longer road trips. And I've got a road trip coming up. So being able to charge this while I'm driving is going to be great. I will still carry the folding panel with me so that at camp or whatever, I can angle it better towards the sun and just get a better charge at that point. But let's see. I think what we need to do is get this all unboxed, make sure it works with the Jackery. I believe it should. So we'll have to head outside to try that, because if it doesn't work, well, then this video is not going to go anywhere at this point. But we'll get that box off of there and we'll get this thing mounted up and we'll see how it works. The biggest thing is going to be figuring out how I want to route the cord inside. Not exactly sure how I'm going to do that. At this point, I might just run it in through the front window there and call it a day, because very shortly we are going to do a little bit of a rebuild on the camping setup in the back of here anyways. So before I like drill a hole anywhere to run the cord in, we might just try it like that to start with. But let's go ahead and get this thing unboxed and make sure it works correctly with the Jackery. So let's get into it. So it is a monocrystalline 100-watt solar panel. And it says produces up to 500 watt hours per day on sunny days. I don't really know a ton about solar. I just know that it'll be able to charge while I'm driving. Now I could run that battery box. I could take it up front and charge it off of like the cigarette lighter or like a USB outlet, but it's not going to charge very fast. So I feel like this should be good. And as long as the box is turned on and this is plugged in, if it's got any UV light, it should be charging. So I think this will be more beneficial to us than anything else. Let's see if I gotta grab a knife. Still had one sitting out from the live stream. All right. See what I'm doing? Upside down. There we go. Pretty basic rigid panel here. That and the Jackery panel is not waterproof, so you can't really leave that outside all the time. So this thing does have these legs on it. If you wanted to use it as like a mobile panel, you can drop these legs down or whatever. I am going to end up taking the legs off of here, and then here's the charger and whatnot. So we'll just have to figure out how to run this cord inside. But there are a couple of mounting holes on the bottom of it. You can just drill through this edge piece. It doesn't go completely, like you can see there's a big gap here. So more than likely what we're gonna do with these brackets, because I believe my rails are just set outside of the width of this thing. I think I should be able to screw them in like this on the end, and then this should mount to my rails, hopefully. If not, we'll use that other strap of metal and we'll just run a straight piece off of here, drill a hole in the bottom and do it that way. Although I could probably go long enough to hit these outside mounting holes. We'll see. We'll figure that out when we get there. But try not to damage this thing, although it's going to be flopping around on the roof of the truck, so it's probably not that big of a deal. All right. So solar mounting kit or solar power connection kit comes with multiple different things. What I need is this little 8mm. We should be able to just plug that right in, and that should be all we need. All of these things. That's not it. There's our extension cable. And this is what we should need right here. And you've got a few different things. Let's just see if this plugs into the side of this. It does. And let's take this outside and see if it powers our box. All right, I went out to try to plug this thing in and I ran into problem number one. So the connector on the back of the panel is not the same as these. These are SAE style connectors, and this has an Anderson style connector. So I'm gonna go ahead and clip this guy off, and since I have multiple of these, I'm gonna clip this one off and I'm gonna wire that together. That way I can plug in the extensions and everything else and make this work. It's my fault for not reading on this before I picked this up, because they do sell a different kit that comes with a different cord, because these just unscrew out of this box, and then that would have changed it to this SAE style connector. But not a big deal. I'll just cut those off and get that wired together and we'll get it working. It's always when you think it's going to be a quick job. Thankfully I have some of these connectors here with the solder in them, so you just take a heat gun and that should connect everything together. All right, we should be good. I'm going to wrap a little bit of electrical tape around here. All right, let's try this again. Oh, it's heavy. All right, that did not work. And the reason why is that, let me get this dang old cord, is that this cord that comes off of the solar panel is an 8mm plug. The same thing that comes off of the cord for the solar panel that I purchased, that is also an 8mm plug. But these are two different style of plugs. Let me look it up quick. This one is an 80/20. This is a 7909. The very inside of here, there's a little metal prong that sticks out in the middle. This one is smaller than this one. Now this cord from Jackery comes with an adapter that goes from this 80/20 or 80/20 down to a 7909, so that you can plug that Jackery solar panel into an older model of power box. But I need one that goes the opposite direction. So I ordered one of those from Amazon. Oh, it even says on here, $79.09 and $80.20. I had no idea. I just read that they both have an 8mm plug. I assumed that I would just be able to plug it in and that it would work. So I have basically this exact same style connector with the this end is over here and this end's over here. So I should be able to plug this in and it should work. Fingers crossed, because that is supposed to be delivered by Amazon today. But for the time being, since we don't have anything else to do, I'm just going to assume that this is going to work, and I'm going to try to mount the solar panel to the roof. We'll figure it out when it gets here. Either way, one way or another, we're going to make this thing work. At least that's my intent. So let's see if we can get this thing mounted, and we will worry about the power adapter once it shows up. For now, we just need to get this off, which I think I put that tarp and stuff back in here yet. So if you watched the video of me putting the reinforcement bars on the bottom of this, I guess we kind of did that for naught, but it's all right. That's all that's in there. Not a whole lot of stuff. We'll keep this. I mean, maybe this will get moved to the other side, although I need that basket to carry the gas cans when I need those. So I don't know. I have thought about, if this works out the way that I want it to, maybe we'll add a rack to the roof of the truck that the cab of the truck you guys are sitting on right now, so that we can put this back on here. But, like I said, I didn't use this very often, so not super concerned with it. If I really need any of that stuff, it can sit in the back of the truck when I need it. All right, we're going to start with these brackets and see if these will actually fit with what we need to do here. I think we're going to be like right at the limit of putting the solar panel between these things. And I am spaced out as far as these will go. All right, let's see if our solar panel will fit between here. How much extra room we've got. No whammies, no whammies, no whammies. Guess we can just do it right here. Oh. I think it is just a hair too long. Maybe I can ream out the holes on here just so these slide just a hair. I can either ream those holes out. I could probably just run a drill bit through them and make the holes on these brackets just a hair bigger on both sides to get them to move out just a little bit and sit flat. And it should mount on here at that point. All right, so I did it on one already, but I'll show you guys what I'm doing. I've got a step bit on here. These are, dang step bit. These are, I think 3/8 holes that are in here already. And I'm just bumping up to 1/2 inch. And I was hoping I could get away with just doing one side and that would fit in there. It's just a smidgen off. So if I do the rest of these in 1/2 inch, it should drop right in between them. And I don't have a great way to stick it in my drill press, so I am just doing it this way, and it's working fine. Still using my drill press to hold it though. All right, let's get these snugged in there. I think it should fit like a glove. All right, moment of truth. Let's see how this fits. Come on. It is tight, as you can see, but boom, fits perfectly. So I'm gonna pull these brackets off. Yeah, that's like absolutely perfect. It's just snug in there. It's about the perfect fit. But I'm gonna drill holes in the side of this thing and put some bolts on there. I've got a center punch here, so I'm gonna try to just get it perfectly aligned in here. Be nice if it fell right on one of the little ribs that are on this, but it does not. I'm gonna go right in the center of that rib. The center punch is kind of janky. I could use some better lights in my garage. Looks good for my house, no turning back now. Looks about perfect. That will work. All right. I'll knock the rest of these out quick. All right, got all the brackets on there. I did go ahead and pull the legs off the bottom. It was just a couple of little nuts and bolts. I left the brackets a little loose just so I could wiggle it around. We'll get them tight. All right, I had to finagle it a bit, and it was a bit of a pain to get my hand underneath of here to tighten the bolts, but it is solid mounted on here. It is tight. You can see it definitely sits lower than the box. The box was about the same height as that. I'm a little worried that it's gonna whistle. If it does, we can make ourselves a little wind deflector like is on that box, but we'll have to figure that out first. The cord is just dangling under here for now. I am going to wait until I get the adapter before I figure out how I'm going to run the wire, because I do want to make sure this works before I mess with that. That is supposed to be delivered to my wife's office because it's faster to get stuff in town than it is out here in the country. So hopefully before the end of the day, we get that figured out. It is currently 10:55 in the morning. So we're at a stopping point, but I'm stoked that this is on here. It should work out. Fingers crossed. I think everything should be fine. I have seen plenty of videos of these running the Jackery boxes. So I think I was watching videos of the older ones that had the old little smaller wire in that plug or whatever it is. So I guess I'll see you guys as soon as I get the adapter. All right, the Amazon guy delivered. I had to run to town to grab this. I actually went and had lunch with the missus. And so at 60 miles an hour, that is not making any noise, which is nice. So that should be good to go. But we have our tiny little adapter piece that we needed. And fingers crossed that this works, because otherwise, I don't know what I'm going to do at this point. Small little pin area in there, and then that's got a larger pin. I just zip tied the cord up there for the time being. I did also go grab some white duct tape for the time being, that's probably how we will end up routing the cord in, but let's see if we can make this work. And if you guys can see, there's tiny little Asian beetles everywhere out here. We're like infested with those guys. Okay. And I mean, it's getting sun. It's not going to get 100 watts at this point, but I never really expected to, considering it's laying flat. Let's see if it works. I'll try to position this so you guys can see what I'm doing here. The box does need to be on to charge. We're at 80%, 0 watts going in. This should plug right into there. And fingers crossed. Boom, input, 13 watts going in. So like I said, 14. It's not getting a ton right now. The sun isn't super high in the sky. But at a bare minimum, this thing is going to continuously charge while I'm driving around or while the vehicle is parked, if I'm at camp, whatever. As long as the box is on and this is plugged in, it will be charging. So yeah, if you've got the newer Jackery and you buy one of these older solar panels or whatever, you need to make sure that that 8mm is the correct one. If not, you're going to have to order an adapter like I did. But I'm going to, man, there's 3 of them on me right now. Can you see them right there? They are everywhere out here. My garage door is just absolutely covered with these guys. Look, they're everywhere. So I'm gonna get my door opened and closed as quickly as possible. We'll get this thing pulled inside and we'll figure out how we want to route that cord inside for now. Like I said, I'm just gonna run it in through that front window. And we'll figure it out from there. I've kind of got some ideas to more permanently run it in so that it is a bit nicer, not just running in through that window. But for the time being, until I rebuild the interior, which we'll probably get to very, very, very shortly, we're just going to run it in through the window. But I'm stoked. 17 watts going in, 18 watts. So it just depends on where the sun's at. Of course, we're in winter, so we're late in the season, so we're at we're probably at like a 30-degree angle to the top of the truck. So it's not going to be perfect, but like I said, I will still have that solar panel that I purchased, the other one, they're everywhere, that I can angle up and charge at a better rate at camp if I want to. But just knowing that this is going to be charging at that rate all the time is nice. So too bad I don't park outside, otherwise it'd probably always be at 100%, but I park in the garage. Either way, stoked on this. It's working, so let's get it inside and route these wires. Get these dang old bugs off me. They're everywhere. All right, so if you've been watching for a long time, I put this screen on this window. It's just some a piece of screen with some duct tape wrapped around it, and then it's got Velcro, so I can get in there and open and close this window. If I have this window opened all the way, the Velcro will seal all the way around there. Sometimes I have it open all the way, and it looks like I could replace some of this Velcro. Most of the time, especially in the winter, it's pushed this far closed. It's just open maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches. That's right before the window catches. But my plan is to just run the cord forward and down in right here, and this will kind of seal it in there. I think in the future what we would do is maybe drill a hole like right in this panel area so it can still run to the front and come in. And that way it comes in at the bottom and doesn't come in through the ceiling, because there'd be no great way to run that wire in here. So I'm gonna get that moved on the roof. And like I said, I did pick up some white duct tape. Ugh. So it won't be super noticeable. And I need to maybe tape this wire down. If you can see that up there from the WeBoost antenna. Oh, and you guys sent in some packages to the P.O. box. Thanks for those. White duct tape. Well, if I ran it on the other side, no, I'd still need it. You see what I'm doing here? Kind of, sort of, along with them dang old bugs everywhere. I need to reseal this third brake light. You see when I film inside, there's like a water stain on the back of my cab because that thing is leaking. Okay. As long as it sticks. I think that's going to work just fine. You can barely see it on the camera. I mean, you can, but you won't be able to see it from the ground at all. And I ran it back till the cord starts going up into the panel. Ran a couple pieces the other way. This should work just fine. All right, let's go inside and try to run it down to where the box sits for the time being. All right, so right now, this usually just rides right here. If you guys can see that, you're a little far away. Yeah, this usually just rides right down here. When I rebuild all this, this will sit back under here, and this will be a bigger container or whatever right here. You can see that this is already right at the window. Bam. And it's just long enough for that connector to come inside. Not the prettiest solution. I understand that. I'm not expecting it to be perfect for the time being. Just expecting this to be functional. This can all just go back here. We've got our power wire coming out right here. Can plug that right in. And this should charge while I'm driving. I think that's going to be it for this one. We will get the truck out camping for the next video. and we'll see how that thing works while we're on the road. Although we won't be able to see it, at least we'll know. I'm not gonna charge the box up at all while we're home. It's sitting at 80% right now, so we'll figure that out on the next video. Check out the website if you guys want some merch. We only got like I think 15 of the stocking caps left. There's still a few of these hats, and we are still running 25% off of these. If you want to pick one up, you'll see the price in your cart. And there's still a few stickers left, so check those out. We got the air fresheners also. Pretty stoked to have solar. It only took me 10 years to actually get like a permanent setup on here, but it is what it is. You kind of don't know what you got until you try it once, and then you're like, yeah, maybe I should have done this a while ago. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up, and as always, stay tuned for the next adventure. I'll see you in a bit.